The courtroom is still, save for the scratch a lone pen on paper. 5 women, 1 man, and intricate knot of lies. Tonight, it all comes crashing down. Kody never thought that the battle for his family would wind up here, under the cold light of justice. But as the doors shut and the judge summons the case, one secret stands to tear it all apart. The sunlight from outside fills the high courthouse windows, lengthening shadows on the chilly marble floor. Kody enters first, stiff shoulders, every step cautious. Behind him are the sisters, Christine's gaze keen, Robyn's hands nervously tugging on her bracelet, Janelle deeply exhaling as though attempting to soothe herself, and Meri, who keeps her head bent, attempting to meld into the shiny wooden benches. The air is scented faintly with old paper and floor wax, a combination that makes the tension palpable. The judge arrives, and the courtroom straightens as one, the gravity of the moment settling on everyone. The case isn't about money or possessions. It's about trust, betrayal, and years of secrets kept. Christine's voice slices through the silence, hard and accusatory. "You guaranteed candor, Kody. You guaranteed candor, Kody. Not only to me, but to all of us." Her words suspend in the air like a guillotine, and Kody winces, a little, half-hidden movement. Robyn nibbles at her lip, caught between standing up for her husband or accepting the accuracy of Christine's words. The sisters lock eyes, the unspoken language of years' worth of shared history heavy with tension. The attorney stands, a tall figure with wire-rimmed glasses, and clears his throat. "Your Honor, this is not just about family conflicts. It's about emotional damages, misrepresentation, and possible financial imbalance in the family setup." He glances at Kody, then at the sisters. "We are here to reveal the truth." The first witness appears. Christine comes forward, hands shaking a little but eyes burning. She speaks of late-night discussions, vows broken, moments of dishonesty that had remained beneath the veil of public opinion. Every sentence is measured, deliberate, yet underscored by raw emotion. Kody sits, his jaw clenched, and the room seems to be closing in with each new disclosure. Cross-examination is savage. Kody's attorney tries to deflect, but Christine is always one step ahead. She remembers things no one else could, triggering a wave of sympathy among the jury and a feeling of horror on Kody's part. Robyn follows. She attempts to clarify her side of things, speaking softly, in a near whisper of pleading, but the room feels tension in her voice. Janelle fidgets in her seat, her arms crossed firmly, silently judging, waiting silently for the time to speak the truth about herself. Meri remains quiet, but the edge of her lips stiffens and her eyes flash to Kody with frustration and pain. Midway through the session, the court recesses, giving everyone a few moments to breathe. Outside the courtroom, the sisters huddle in whispered conversations, each revealing layers of their pain and suspicion. Christine's voice is low but cutting. "This isn't just about Kody's mistakes. This is about all of us finally facing what we've ignored for too long." The afternoon adds more witnesses, friends and family members, even former partners, who share long-dormant tensions and secrets. Each bit of testimony adds another layer to the complicated puzzle. Kody's face pales as tales of financial mismanagement and emotional disregard are told. Robyn moves closer, attempting to shield him, but the harm is done. As the afternoon wears on, the judge leans forward, his eyes scanning across the room. "Tomorrow, we will have heard the most important testimonies," he states. His voice is level, but the room is listening intently, aware that the next session might make all the difference. Kody exits the courtroom, shoulders bent, the burden of charges weighing like a tangible force. The sisters trail behind, each with their minds elsewhere, the emotional depletion evident on their faces. The first day is done, but the battle has only just begun. Tomorrow holds confrontation, breakdowns, and secrets that may redefine what they believe they understood about one another. And when night descends, the house is silent, but nobody sleeps. Everybody stays awake, tormented by recollections, by uttered words, by kept truths. The air is charged with tension, the storm gathering, and the next session will be where all bets are off. The morning air in the courthouse is heavy with anticipation, almost suffocating as Kody walks in, the weight of yesterday's revelations pressing down on him like a storm cloud. his steps slow, deliberate, while Christine's eyes are fixed on him with a mixture of defiance and pain, Robyn trailing behind with her hand brushing against Kody's arm, a silent gesture of support. Though her expression betrays fear, Janelle's jaw is set tight, eyes dar is set tight, eyes dar of set tight, eyes dar is tight, eyes dar is set tight. I stars arouse dar starming, the stars dart define and verb low stars dart wow the set tight. I started in the star was stop fear. Janelle's jaw is set tight. I the right words and Meri, quiet and composed, yet her fingertips tap nervously against her folded hands. The judge enters, and the gavel echoes like a heartbeat through the tense room, immediately commanding attention, signaling that today is different. Today, the hidden truths of years will face the harsh light of scrutiny, and the first witness is called, a former family friend who reveals that he overheard private conversations between Kody at asked conversations between Kody at asked Meri asked conversations between Kody at asked and Kody asked conversations between Kody asked asked a former conversations between Kody and a 40 asked private conversations, manipulation and favoritism that have long festered beneath the surface, and as his voice shakes slightly with nervous recollection, Christine leans forward, her eyes glinting with vindication, and Robyn flinches, the words striking her like a sudden chill. Janelle whispers under her breath, "Finally, someone sees it," and Meri's lips press into a thin line, masking the sting of betrayal she feels, while Kody opens his mouth to respond, but betrayal she feels, while Kody opens his mouth to respond, but Kody opens his mouth to respond, but fun betrayals, while Kody opens his mouth to respond, but Kody opens his mouth to respond, but tension so thick it's almost visible in the way the light catches the polished wooden benches. The cross-examination begins, sharp and unrelenting, each question a blade, each answer a potential wound, as the lawyer methodically unravels layers of deceit, pointing out discrepancies in past statements, highlighting moments where promises were broken, and forcing Kody to confront not only the accusations but also the emotional fallout etched into his each test ends. Also the emotional fallout etched into him, not only the accusations, but also the emotional fallout etched into him, each questionable fallout etched into him. Her voice cracking but strong, recalling nights when she confronted him privately about these issues, nights when tears were shed, accusations thrown, and apologies whispered, yet the pattern never changed, and as she recounts these intimate battles, the courtroom is silent. Absorbing every word, every pause heavy with meaning, Robyn's eyes glisten with unshed tears, Janelle's hands clench in her lap, and Meri shifts slightly, her gaze fixed on Kody, eyes 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 fixed on Kody, eyes. The former friend produces evidence, text messages that reveal secret meetings, coded language, and unspoken promises that hint at manipulation not just emotionally but financially. The jury leans forward, the gravity of the moment settling over everyone like a dense fog. Kody swallows hard, his throat dry, as Robyn reaches for his hand, trembling, trying to anchor him in reality while internally questioning her own vindication she has long sought. Janelle exhales sharply, a mixture of relief and anticipation of the next blow, and Meri, silent as ever, clenches her fists, the betrayal cutting deeper than words can express. The tension escalates further when the next witness, a distant relative, steps forward and recounts how certain financial decisions favored Robyn and her children, leaving the other wives feeling marginalized, invisible. Revelation a spark in a tinderbox, Kody's defenses crumble incrementally as the weight of collective disapproval presses in from all sides. Robyn whispers apologies that feel hollow even to her. Janelle's anger simmers. Christine's vindication is tempered by sorrow, and Meri's silent judgment slices sharper than any spoken accusation. Midway through the session, the judge calls for a recess, but the tension does not dissipate. Outside the calls for a recess, but the tension does not dissipate. outside the call, outside the call, outside the call, outside the calls, outside the call, outside the calls for a recess, but the tension does not dissipate. Outside the calls for a recess, but the tension does not dissipate. Outside the cause for a recess, but the conversations, Christine shaking her head. He's done this for too long. Robyn wiping a tear from her cheek, whispering, I never wanted it to be this way. Janelle pacing, muttering, it's finally all coming out, and Meri standing slightly apart, eyes cold yet thoughtful, processing how much pain was silently endured, how much betrayal was quietly swallowed. When the session resumes, the atmosphere is even denser, charged with emotion, charged with emotion, charged with emotion, charged with emotion, calming, charged with emotional, charged with emotional, charged with emotion zooms. The atmosphere is even denser, charged with emotional. Children, whose voice trembles as they recount personal experiences of feeling overlooked, manipulated, and forced to navigate divided loyalties, each word hitting Kody like a physical blow. Robyn gasps softly, covering her mouth, unable to reconcile the truth she hears with the life she thought they shared. Christine closes her eyes, letting the confirmation of her suspicions wash over her. Janelle exhales slowly, nodding subtly as if to her. Janelle exhales slowly, nodding subtly as if to her, her steam stully, as if to her health steam silly, as if to her. Janelle exhale as if to her Janelle exhale as if shifts in her seat, silently mourning the innocence lost, the family fractured. As the afternoon wears on, the tension escalates with each piece of evidence, from financial records showing discrepancies to handwritten notes that hint at secret promises and allegiances, and the courtroom's silence is punctuated only by the occasional sob, the shuffle of papers, or the sharp inhale of a witness caught in the glare of the truth. Cody's demeanor greeth, Cody's demeanor greer greeth, Cody's demeanor greer greeth, Cody's demeanor grease, Cody's demeanor greeth, Grady's demeanor grease, and the potential records or the sharp inhale of a witness caught in the glare of the truth, and the Cody's tonful of papers, wet forming at his temples, Robyn's supportive gestures faltering as she senses the tidal wave of consequences looming, Christine's defiance unwavering, Janelle's quiet intensity radiating from her, and Meri's composed exterior barely concealing the storm within. Just as the session nears its climax, the judge announces that the final and most pivotal witness will speak tomorrow. Someone whose testimony could completely overturn the narrow witness, sealing. The judge now overturn the narrow ratings Kempels. The judge announces that the final and narrow witness completely overturn the narrow witness trajectory of the case, and as everyone leaves the courtroom, the air thick with unresolved tension, Kody walks slowly, each step weighted with the fear of what is to come, Robyn clutching his arm as if trying to prevent him from collapsing under the pressure, Christine muttering under her breath about justice, Janelle's eyes scanning every exit, every shadow, anticipating the confrontation, and Meri, quiet but vigilant, imagining the upheaval of vigilant, imagining the upheaval of Preshtakans, upheaval of Brupsing, imagining the upheaval of station, imagining the upheaval of vigilant, and walls cannot be breached any further, tomorrow promises. Revelations that could shatter their world completely, exposing secrets so raw and intimate that the family may never be the same again. And as night descends, the sisters and Kody lie awake in their respective rooms, haunted by memories, confessions, and the impending testimony that will test every bond, every promise, every ounce of trust left, each lost in their private turmoil, hearts heavy, minds racing, knowing that the next day will push heavy, minds racing, knowing that the next day will push fox day, will push puff day, will push sex day, will push day, will push do, mond, and the test day will push do, rond, every new lease. Fox day will push devi, minds racing, knowing that the next day will push stick day, mond, day. Them have ever faced before, leaving everyone, including the audience, desperate to see what happens next. The courthouse is quiet as the doors swing open, but the tension inside is electric, almost palpable. Like static before a storm, Kody enters first, his face a mask of forced composure, every step betraying the unease that coils in his chest. Christine follows closely, her eyes sharp, scanning the room for any hint of deceit. Robyn walks beside Kody, her hand occasionally brushing his arm, a nervous gesture seeking connection and reassurance and gesture seeking connection and reassurance and reassurance and reassurance and reassurance and reassurance. Fingers drumming lightly against the bench, and Meri lingers slightly behind, posture rigid, silent, as if bracing herself for the emotional hurricane about to hit. The judge enters, gavel poised, his presence instantly commanding attention, and the day's proceedings begin with the arrival of the most critical witness yet. A former confidant of Kody's, someone who knows the hidden intricacies of the family's financial and emotional dealings, someone who knows the hidden intricacies of the family's financial and emotional dealings, intricacies of the family's financial and emotional dealings. Carefully constructed facades, and as the witness takes the stand, the courtroom collectively holds its breath, the weight of their gaze almost unbearable, the air thick with expectation, the faint scent of polished wood and paper mingling with the metallic tinge of anxiety. The witness begins, voice steady but edged with tension, describing private meetings and clandestine decisions, secrets kept from Christine, Janelle, and Meri, each revelation, Janelle and Meri, each revelation, Janelle and Meri, each revelation, Janelle and Meri, each revelation that still exists, and as names, dates, and coded messages are read aloud, the expressions of the sisters shift. Christine's lips tighten, eyes flashing with a mix of anger and vindication. Janelle's fingers clench into fists, Robyn's brows furrow, her lips pressed in a thin line, and Meri sits motionless, the quiet intensity in her gaze revealing the storm brewing within. All the while Kody's face drains of color, the layers of denial, cruelties of denial, careers 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 of denial, career, the layers of denial, careers of time storm brewing within. All the while Kody's face drains, settling over him, making the courtroom feel even smaller, the walls closing in as the tension rises to an almost unbearable pitch. As the lawyer for the plaintiffs begins cross-examination, the room feels like a chessboard, each move calculated, every question a strategic strike, probing inconsistencies, highlighting contradictions, and pointing out the hidden emotional toll on the wives, while Kody struggles to maintain his composure. Study struggles to maintain his composure. Stuttle on the wives. Study struggles to maintain his composure. Stuttle on the wives. Stuttle lawyer, while Kody struggles to maintain his composure. Stuttle's composure. Stuttle lawyer struggles to maintain his composure. Support, but finding uncertainty mirrored in her own expression, Christine's sharp glances cutting like daggers, Janelle leaning forward slightly, ready to pounce on any faltering word, and Meri's silence acting as a judge in itself, a mirror reflecting the pain and betrayal she has internalized for so long. Then comes the revelation that changes everything. The witness produces a set of private letters and digital messages showing clear favorital messages, 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 showing clear favorital without consultation and secret promises that undermine the other wives, and as the evidence is displayed, audible gasps ripple through the courtroom. Robyn's hand flies to her mouth. Eyes wide with shock and fear, Christine leans forward, barely able to contain a smirk of vindication. Janelle exhales sharply, the weight of confirmation pressing against her chest, and Meri's jaw tightens, her knuckles whitening as she grips the bench, the sting of 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 the lightning. Without consultals whitening, head sinks, the gravity of the accusations reflected in every line of his strained face, the tension so thick it could be cut with a knife, and the judge calls for a brief recess. The room emptying slowly as everyone processes the revelations, whispers filling the hallways with speculation, tension, and dread. Outside the courtroom, the sisters gather briefly, voices hushed but urgent, Christine's tone low and cutting. He's been lying for years.
With tears,
I didn't know it would come to this, Janelle mutters under her breath. Finally, the truth is here, and Meri, silent yet commanding in presence, simply nods, her gaze fixed on the building, already anticipating the next confrontation, the next wave of revelations, the next emotional blow. When the session resumes, the focus shifts to a series of emotionally charged testimonies from friends and extended family, each sharing charged testimonies from friends and extended family, each sharing mojes fixed during mojed family, each sharing moj testimonies from friends and extended family, each sharing moj charged testimonies from friends, the next emotional blow. When the alliances, the courtroom a stage for raw emotion, with Christine's voice rising in defiance, Janelle's quiet intensity breaking through occasionally, Robyn attempting to explain her perspective with soft, trembling words, and Meri maintaining a composed exterior that belies the storm inside. While Kody tries to defend himself, his arguments increasingly hollow under the weight of evidence, his confidence eroding, each revelation acting as eroding, each revelation acting as eroding, each revelation acting as eroding, revelation acting as eroding, each revelation acting as eroding, and his confidence eroding, each revelation acting as eroding, each revelation
that sends shockwaves through everyone present. A trusted family member reveals that one of Cody's decisions nearly caused a financial disaster, putting everyone at risk. And the details are so precise, so damning, that the room falls into stunned silence. Robyn's eyes fill with tears as she realizes the scope of what's been hidden. Christine's expression hardens. Janelle leans back, exhaling slowly, but with a grim satisfaction, and Meri's lips satisfaction, and Meri's lips satisfaction, and Meri's lips as Moline satisfaction, and Meri's lips as member, Meri's lips as dream saction, and Meri's lips as saction, and Meri's lips as scope of what's been hidden. Meri's lips as gorilla little saction hardens.
deeper than any words, while Kody sits frozen, the weight of consequence pressing down like a physical force. The session continues with each piece of evidence layered upon the last, creating a crescendo of tension, from financial documents to private letters, each revelation a dagger, each testimony a mirror reflecting the emotional scars inflicted over the years, and the courtroom reacts in kind, the air heavy with emotion, the silent kind, the air heavy with emotion, the silent some kind, the air heavy with emotion, the silent girls in kind, the hair heavy with emotion, the silent kind, the national scars in violent and kind, the air heavy with emotion. Truth creating a symphony of suspense. Robyn's trembling hands clutch Cody's arm, seeking comfort. Christine's eyes burn with righteous anger. Janelle sits poised, tense, anticipating every reaction, and Meri remains silently vigilant, observing, processing, the storm in her chest matching the one raging outside. As the day nears its end, the most dramatic testimony is delivered by a former business associate, revealing not only financial associate, revealing not only financials, revealing not only financials, revealing not only financial, revealing not only financials, revealing not only financials, revealing not only financials, revealing not only financials, this
And control, the implication so profound that the room seems to vibrate with tension. Robyn gasps, tears falling freely now. Christine's face is unreadable, but her eyes flash with fire. Janelle exhales sharply, and Meri's silence is louder than any words, while Cody's shoulders slump, the weight of exposure crushing him, realizing that the carefully maintained facade is crumbling, and the judge leans forward, voice steady but heavy with the gravity, heavy with the gravity.
Tomorrow's session will bring the final and most pivotal testimonies, the ones that could determine not only legal outcomes but the very emotional fabric of the family. And just when it feels like the walls of secrecy could hold no more, tomorrow promises a confrontation that will shatter alliances, expose hidden motives, and force each member of the family to face truths they have long avoided, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, desperate to, desperate to, desperate to, desperate to, viewers on the edge of their seats, desperate to, viewers on the edge of their seats, desperate to, Tomorrow promises a confrontation that will spread the lines. Tomorrow promises a family. Tomorrow promise secrecy could bug family. Tomorrow avoided. Desperate tools they have long. The courtroom under a veil of tension, the weight of anticipation pressing on them like a storm about to break, each lost in thoughts of betrayal, regret, fear, and hope, knowing that the coming revelations could either destroy them completely or finally offer a path toward understanding, trust, and, perhaps, reconciliation. The courtroom is tense from the moment the doors open, the atmosphere almost crackling with anticipation as Kody steps in, shoulders stiff, jaw tight, each step heavy with the weight of what he knows is coming, while Christine follows closely, her eyes piercing, scanning every corner, every face, as if daring the truth to hide anywhere. Robyn trails beside Kody, her hand occasionally brushing his arm, a gesture of solidarity, yet her expression a gesture of solidarity, yet her expression yet her expression yet her expression in the moment of brushing his arm, a gesture of solidarity, yet her expression to spend, her expression of anywhere. Hands clasped tightly, every muscle alert, her eyes flicking between the judge, Kody, and the witnesses, and Meri, ever composed yet brimming with internal tension, takes her seat slightly apart, her gaze unwavering, calculating, the quiet before the storm. The judge enters, the gavel echoing like a heartbeat, commanding immediate silence, and with a single motion, the day's proceedings begin, drawing the courtroom into a vortex of proceedings begin, drawing the courtroom into a vortex of proceedings begin, drawing the courtroom into a vortex of proceedings begin, drawing the courtroom into a vortex of proceedings begin, drawing the cortex of proceedings begin, drawing the cortex of proceedings begin, drawn to spent years observing the family dynamics from a distance yet privy to intimate moments of manipulation and favoritism, and as they recount late-night conversations, secret plans, and emotional manipulations, the room holds its collective breath, the tension so thick it feels almost tangible, the faint scent of polished wood and coffee mingling with the metallic edge of anxiety. Christine leans forward, eyes gleaming, her lips pressed and leans forward, eyes gleaming, her lips pressed and leans forward, eyes gleaming, her lips pressed in italics and tries to steady herself. Janelle's knuckles whiten as she grips the edge of the bench, and Meri's calm exterior conceals the storm within, while Kody's face pales, beads of sweat forming on his brow as the words pierce deeper than he anticipated, and the witness's account grows more damning with each detail, revealing patterns of secrecy and favoritism that Robyn had unknowingly benefited from, leaving Christine, Janelle, and Meri feeling sidelined. Examination begins, the lawyer's questions cut like a scalpel, exposing inconsistencies in Kody's statements, highlighting private promises broken, and drawing a stark picture of manipulation, leaving Kody fumbling, searching for words, glancing at Robyn for reassurance but finding only the reflection of his own fear. Christine's piercing gaze slicing through every defense, Janelle's restrained fury simmering beneath her composed exterior, simmering beneath her composed exterior, simmering beneath her composed exterior, stammering beneath her composed exterior, stammering. Top exterior stains, Landon Laverett, simmering beneath her composed exterior, stammering beneath her composed exterior, simmering beneath her composed exterior, composed Christine. Years spent in quiet observation, while the jury leans in, eyes wide, absorbing every revelation, the tension building like a crescendo in a symphony of betrayal. The courtroom falls into an uneasy silence as the witness produces a set of private emails, digital messages, and even photographs that confirm years of hidden favoritism and secret promises. Each piece of evidence landing like a hammer blow. Robyn gasps, hand flying to her blow. Robyn gasps, hand flying to her blow. Robyn gasps, hand flying to her gasps, hand flying to her gasp. Within her, Christine's lips curl in a faint, controlled smile of vindication. Janelle exhales sharply, anticipation giving way to grim satisfaction, and Meri's eyes narrow, the sting of betrayal hitting harder than any words could, while Kody sinks lower in his chair, the weight of exposure pressing down like a physical force, threatening to crush him. The judge calls for a short recess, but the tension does not dissipate. Instead it grows heavy, instead it grows heavy, instead it grows heavy, Heavy instead it grows heavy as. The tension does not dissipate. Instead it grows heavy hills, heavy hints. The tension does not dissipate. Instead it grows heavy because
The courtroom. The sisters huddle, whispers urgent and sharp, Christine muttering, "All the lies are."
out in the open now, Robyn's voice soft, trembling. I didn't see it coming. I never wanted this. Janelle pacing in quiet frustration. Finally, they can't hide it anymore, and Meri, calm but unyielding, simply nods, her mind already calculating the emotional and legal ramifications of what has been revealed. The family fractured yet again. When proceedings resume, the next testimony comes from a financial advisor who worked closely with Kody, presenting documents and accounts that reveal not only with Kody, presenting documents and accounts that reveal not only with Kaus, and not only volts, but only presenting documents and accounts that reveal not only with the quiets, Christine's
Financial decisions made without consulting the other wives, the implications so severe that the courtroom seems to hold its breath collectively, Robyn trembling, a mixture of fear and guilt overtaking her. Christine's defiance unwavering, Janelle's quiet intensity radiating through her posture, and Meri sitting perfectly still, absorbing every detail, while Kody's attempts to respond are feeble. The weight of accumulated evidence making defense to respond are feeble. The weight of accumulated evidence making defense unsupportable.
escalates further when one of Kody's adult children is called to testify, recounting experiences of neglect, favoritism, and feeling caught in the middle of a fractured family, their voice trembling with suppressed anger and hurt, and as they speak, the courtroom is electric with emotion, Robyn silently weeping, Christine's expression fierce, Janelle's body rigid with anticipation, and Meri's calmness masking the inner ache, while Kody's shoulders admitting the inner ache. While Kody's shoulders unmasking the inner ache, while Kody's shoulders unmasking the inner ache, while Kody's shoulders admit ache, while Kody's shoulders and scam the inner ache, Christine the inner ache, him from every direction, and the judge listens, solemn, every word amplifying the drama. The courtroom is stage for a storm of long-suppressed feelings. The tension reaches a peak when the witness produces a hidden journal, notes detailing late-night conversations, promises made and broken, and emotional manipulations that paint a picture of a family struggling under the weight of secrecy and favoritism. Robyn's hands clutch her arm. Trembloth's hands clutch her arm. Trembloth clutch her arm. Trembloth hands clutch her arm. Trembloth clutch her arm. Trembloth Lang's hands clutch her arm. Trembloth listens. Robyn's hands clutch her arm. Trembloth Laneful, Robyn's hands clutch her arm. Trembloth with struggling suspected is confirmed. Janelle exhales with restrained relief, and Meri's eyes narrow, silently judging, while Kody's face pales further, realization dawning that every secret, every decision, has been exposed, leaving him vulnerable and unarmed emotionally. The courtroom charged with a raw intensity as each member of the family faces the consequences of years of hidden truths. Mid-afternoon brings yet another bombshell when a former family years of hidden truths. Mid-afternoon brings yet another bombshell when a former family years of hidden truths. Mid-afternoon brings yet another bombshell when a former family years of hidden truths. Mid-afternoon brings yet another bombshell when a former family is harmony caused resentment, emotional distress, and isolation among the other wives. Their testimony a stark mirror to the pain and frustration accumulated over years. Robyn visibly shaking, Christine leaning forward, voice steady but laced with emotion. Janelle's hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes locked on Kody, every revelation a dagger to the heart. And as the day progresses, the cumulative effect of these testimonies, documents, and forward. And as the day progresses, the cumulative effect of these testimonies, documents, and testimonies, documents, word cutting deeper, each revelation a fracture in the already fragile family structure. The session closes with the judge calling attention to the final witness scheduled for the next day, whose testimony promises to be the most devastating, revealing truths that could irrevocably alter the family dynamics. And as the courtroom empties, the sisters and Kody walk out, each lost in their private storm. Christine fierce yet pained, Robyn fragile and fragile and fragile and fragile and fragile and fragile and as the courtroom empties, de fierce yet pained, Robyn fragile and unwedstilled, revelage fragile and Robyn fragile and as the courtroom empties, Christine calm but simmering with silent judgment, and Kody weighed down by the inevitability of confrontation. As night falls and the echoes of the day's emotional battles linger, hearts heavy, minds racing, the storm of revelation far from over. The courthouse is tense as the morning light streams through the tall windows, highlighting the polished wooden benches and casting long shadows across the floor. Kody enters first, shoulders tight, jaw set, every step heavy with the knowledge that today could define not just the legal outcome but the very soul of his fractured family. Christine follows, eyes sharp, scanning every face, every angle, a mixture of anger, hurt, and anticipation burning in her gegger, and anticipation burning in her gegger, and anticipation burning in her geggle, and anticipation burning in her gegger, and anticipation burning in her geggle, mixture of anger, gesture of anger, and anticipation burning in her gegger, and hand occasionally brushing his arm, a gesture seeking connection. Yet her expression is laced with fear and doubt. Janelle sits poised, hands folded but body taut, every muscle prepared to react, and Meri lingers slightly behind, composed, but her eyes burning with quiet judgment, the weight of past betrayals pressing heavily on all of them. The judge enters, gavel in hand, and the day's proceedings commence with the calling of a wit. The day's proceedings commence with the calling of a wit, Let's proceedings commence with the calling of a wit, 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 of a wit. The judge enters, proceedings commence with the calling of a wit, of wit, the wit of a wit, of the calling of a wit, the wit. Former close friend of Kody's who had observed years of favoritism, secret meetings, and whispered promises, their voice calm yet edged with tension as they recount intimate details that send ripples of shock through the courtroom. Christine leaning forward, eyes flashing with vindication, Robyn's hand flying to her mouth in disbelief, Janelle's fingers tightening around the bench edge, and Meri's quiet composure hiding the fury rising within, while Kody, accusations pressing down like a vice, each revelation another nail in the fragile structure he's built over the years. As the lawyer begins cross-examination, the tension ratchets higher, questions sharp and precise, slicing through Kody's defenses, exposing contradictions, and revealing moments where emotional manipulation and favoritism were clearly evident. Kody's attempts to explain faltering under the mounting evidence. Robyn's eyes glib evidence. Robyn's eyes glib faltering under the mounting evidence. Robyn's eyes glib evidence. Robyn's eyes glib code structure under the contradictions. Robyn's eyes glib Crossing's eyes glib plain faltering down. Robyn's eyes glib them link sides cutting. Janelle leaning slightly forward, anticipation radiating, and Meri's gaze fixed like steel, silent judgment burning through the room. Every witness, document, and recollection layering into a crescendo of suspense that grips the audience as though the walls themselves are closing in. A sudden revelation shakes the courtroom when the witness produces a set of private emails and messages showing Kody's preferential treatment toward Robyn and her Chachi's preferential treatment toward Robyn and her Chachal treatment toward Robyn and her Chachal and her Chajment Robyn and her Chajment and her Chajment and her Chajm's preferment Robyn and her Chajnwedwid and messages showing Kody's preferation showing Kody's preferably promises kept to some while quietly ignored others, the room practically vibrating with the impact, Robyn gasping, hand clutching her chest as the implications hit, Christine's lips tighten, a thin smile of vindication flickering across her face, Janelle exhaling sharply and Meri sitting straighter. Every word striking like a hammer, while Kody's face drains of color, realization dawning that the web of secrecy he maintained is unraveling of secrecy, he maintained is unraveling of secrecy, he maintained is unraveling of stished, he maintained is unraveling of things. Bestimietained is unraveling befames of aims. Implication dawn unraveling befames of battling befames of color, realization dawning the does not dissipate. Outside, whispers of disbelief circulate among spectators, and inside, the sisters huddle, voices low but urgent. Christine murmuring, years of lies, finally laid bare. Robyn trembling, whispering, I never imagined it would come to this. Janelle muttering, they can't hide it anymore. And Meri, silent yet commanding, simply nods, her mind already anticipating the fallout from today's revelations. When proceedings resume, the next witness, a financial advisor, takes the stand, producing documents and testimony that reveal discrepancies, secret accounts, and decisions that favored certain children while marginalizing other certain children while marginalizing other thing other and while marginalizing other thing other and decisions that favored certain children while marginalizing other victims. When proceedings of the list of finance certain children while marginalized. Visibly, Christine's eyes flashing with fury and relief in equal measure. Janelle's body tense, awaiting each revelation, and Meri's silence betraying the depth of her inner judgment, while Kody struggles to respond, words failing him, the weight of accumulated guilt and exposure pressing down, each revelation a hammer blow against the fragile trust of his family. The emotional intensity escalates further as one of Kody's adult children is caught. Children is caught. As one of Kody's adult children is caught. Favoritism, and being caught between divided loyalties, their voice trembling with emotion as they describe nights of confusion and days of resentment. Each detail hitting Kody like a physical blow, Robyn's hand flying to her mouth in shock, tears spilling down her cheeks, Christine leaning forward with satisfaction and sorrow entwined, Janelle's jaw tight, hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes fixed unwaveringly on Kody, the courtroom thick with suspense unwaveringly on Kody, the courtroom thick with suspense unwaveringly on Kody, the courtroom thick with suspense, and Meri's eyes fixed unwaveringly on Kody, the courtroom thick with suspense unwaveringly on Kody, the courtroom thick with suspense of long-suppressed emotions. The tension reaches its zenith when the witness presents a hidden journal filled with private conversations, promises broken, and evidence of secret favoritism, the details so damning that the room collectively holds its breath. Robyn's body trembling, Christine's lips curling in a controlled but satisfied expression, Janelle exhaling sharply, and Meri's silent judgment cutting deeper than any spoken word, while Meri's silent judgment cutting deeper than any spoken word, while satisfying deeper than any spoken word, while Meri's status memories. And consequence, every lie, every omission, every manipulation laid bare for all to see. Mid-afternoon brings another shocking turn as a former employee recounts incidents of emotional manipulation, favoritism, and the resulting resentment among the wives, each story a dagger to the heart. Robyn gasping, Christine's eyes flashing, Janelle sitting tensely, and Meri's calm demeanor concealing the storm of emotions, while Kody's face grows pale. Crumbling, the courtroom practically vibrating with suspense, and every witness, document, and testimony piling onto the weight pressing against him. The session continues with each new piece of evidence more damning than the last, financial records, private letters, and digital messages layering into a mountain of proof, Robyn's hands shaking, tears streaming, Christine's gaze unwavering, Janelle's tension palpable, and Meri's silent intensity whose. To maintain composure, each revelation stripping away the layers of control and defense, leaving him exposed and vulnerable before the law and his family alike. As the day nears its end, the judge calls attention to the final and most critical witness for the next session, whose testimony promises to expose the deepest secrets, hidden motives, and ultimate betrayals, and as everyone files out, the tension clinging like a physical weight, the 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 physical to maintain like a physical weight, the critical weight, the testimony promises to a clinging like a physical weight, the systeming like a physical weight. Christine fierce, yet pained, Robyn fragile and guilt-stricken, Janelle tense but resolute, Meri calm yet simmering with silent judgment, and Kody burdened by the inevitability of what is to come. As night falls and the echoes of betrayal and exposure linger, hearts heavy, minds racing, and the storm of emotional confrontation far from over. The courthouse feels heavier than ever as the morning sun filters through the towering windows, the polished floors reflecting the tension that seems to vibrate through the room like an electric current. Kody steps inside first, each footfall measured, shoulders tight, jaw clenched, aware that today could redefine everything he has tried to maintain. Christine follows closely, eyes sharp and unyielding, scanning the room for any hint of deceit. Robyn walks beside, the room for any hint of deceit. Robyn walks beside, Robyn walks beside. Nervously, a gesture of solidarity mixed with uncertainty, Janelle sits poised, body taut, hands folded but fingers lightly tapping, her energy coiled like a spring ready to react, and Meri lingers slightly behind, composed but radiating an undercurrent of quiet judgment, each sister carrying the weight of betrayal, frustration, and anticipation. The judge enters, gavel in hand, and the air immediately tightens, signaling the bigigly tightens, signaling the bigigly tightens, signaling the bigigly tightens, signaling the biggest need, signaling the biguster carrying the big tightens, signaling the big tightens, signaling the bigudgeoned, and the air immediately tightens, signaling the bigudgeoned. Will be the most pivotal session yet, as the first witness is called, a longtime family friend who has intimate knowledge of Kody's secret dealings and favoritism, their voice steady but edged with tension as they recount private conversations, coded promises, and instances where trust was broken, each detail landing like a hammer on the fragile emotional state of the family. Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with vindication, Robyn's hand, 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 forced with tendication, Robyn's hand once gifted only to hammer, Robyn's hand but Robyn's hand on the Janelle's knuckles whitening as she grips the edge of the bench, and Meri maintaining a stoic exterior that barely conceals the storm within, while Kody's face drains of color, the weight of exposure pressing down on him like a vice. The lawyer begins cross-examination, questions sharp and relentless, each one designed to expose inconsistencies, reveal hidden manipulations, and highlight moments of favoritism and deception. Kody strugglate moments of favoritism and deception. Kody strugglate moments of favoritism and deception. Kody struggles inconsistencies, reveal hidden manipulations. Finding only her own uncertainty mirrored back, Christine's gaze piercing, Janelle leaning forward, anticipation building with every faltering answer, and Meri's silence cutting through the tension like a blade, the courtroom collectively holding its breath as the layers of deceit are meticulously peeled back. A dramatic revelation unfolds when the witness produces a cache of private messages, digital communications, and letters showing not only favors, and letters showing not only favorins, and letters showing not only favorins, and letters showing not only favorins, alders showing not only favorins, and letters showing not only secret financial arrangements and promises kept hidden from the other wives, the courtroom practically vibrating with the impact, Robyn gasping, hand clutching her chest as tears well, Christine's lips tightening in controlled triumph, Janelle exhaling sharply, and Meri's eyes narrowing, silently condemning the betrayal, while Kody's head sinks, the gravity of exposure finally breaking through his defenses, the room thick with the raw energy of long brief recess, but the tension only grows, whispers of disbelief circulating outside the courtroom, while inside, the sisters huddle, voices urgent and low, Christine murmuring, "It's all coming out now." Robyn shaking her head, whispering, "I didn't see it. I never imagined." Janelle pacing in quiet frustration. Finally, the truth can't be hidden, and Meri, calm yet unyielding, simply nods, already calculating the nods. Already calculating the nods. Already calculating the nods. Resume, the focus shifts to testimony from one of Kody's adult children. whose voice trembles as they recount instances of neglect, favoritism, and being forced to navigate divided loyalties, each word striking Kody like a physical blow. Robyn covering her mouth in shock, tears streaming, Christine leaning forward, vindication and sorrow entwined on her face, Janelle sitting rigid, hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes fixed on Kody in the bench, and Meri's eyes fixed on Kody's eyes fixed on Kody's eyes fixed on Kody's eyes fixed on Kody's, Janelle sitting rigid, hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes fixed on Kody's eyes fixed on Kody's, Janelle sitting leaning forward. Revelation deepens the emotional stakes, the layers of betrayal piling higher, threatening to crush the family under their weight. The session intensifies when a former family business associate steps forward, producing documents and accounts that reveal secret financial decisions, preferential treatment of certain children, and evidence of emotional manipulation. Robyn trembling as the implications become clear, Christine's eyes narrowing, Janelle Christine's eyes narrowing, Janelle's eyes narrowing, Janelle Christine's eyes narrowing, Janelle Christine's eyes narrowing, Janelle eyes narrowing, Janimplicational manipulation, Christine's silent judgment radiating like fire, while Kody's composure continues to erode, each new piece of evidence stripping away the layers of defense he has clung to for years. Mid-afternoon brings an even more shocking turn when a trusted family friend delivers testimony of a private meeting in which Kody admitted to making decisions without consulting the other wives, promises to some made in secrecy, and subtle manipulations designed to favor Courtroom collectively holds its breath. Robyn gasping in disbelief, Christine leaning back slightly, lips pressed thin, Janelle exhaling sharply, and Meri sitting rigid, eyes locked on Kody, the silent accusation cutting deeper than any words, while Kody's shoulders slump, realizing the full extent of exposure, the walls of secrecy crumbling around him. The emotional tension reaches a climax when the witness produces a handwritten journal. The emotional tension reaches a climax when the witness produces a handwritten journal and observations of favoritism, each page turning the knife further into the already raw wounds of the family, Robyn's hands trembling, Christine's face a mask of both relief and sorrow, Janelle's body taut with anticipation, and Meri's eyes narrowing, the weight of truth pressing like a physical force, Kody sitting frozen, the enormity of consequence settling heavily on him, every detail, every omission, every manipulation laid bare before the law. Every manipulation laid bare before the law. Every manipulation laid bare before the law. Janelle's both were the law. The enormity of consequence variation laid bare before the law. Criticisms laid bare before the law. Escalates further with testimony from multiple witnesses, friends, family members, and former employees, recounting moments of emotional neglect, favoritism, and secret alliances, the courtroom vibrating with suspense, Robyn clutching her arm, sobbing softly, Christine's gaze unwavering, Janelle sitting tensely, and Meri's silent intensity radiating through the room, while Kody struggles to maintain composure. Each revelation a hammer, Kody struggles to maintain composure. Each revelation a hammer, each revelation a hammer, room, while Kody's revelation a hammer, Kody struggles to maintain composure. Each revelation a hammer, a radiant hammer, a waiting judge, solemn and attentive, declares that the final witness of the day will be the most pivotal, someone whose testimony could irrevocably alter the trajectory of the case, the emotional stakes at their highest point yet. As the courtroom empties for the day, the sisters gather briefly outside, voices hushed but urgent, Christine muttering, "The truth is finally out," Robyn trembling, whispering, "I can't believe this is happening." Janelle whispering, "I can't believe this is happening." Janelle, this is happening. Janelle out, this feels happening. Janelle out, Janelle whisper them at the preved out, the corfacum them out. Janelle whispering, Janelle Montmanel, Manella Nolans. Watchful, silently preparing for the revelations yet to come, while Kody walks slowly, shoulders heavy, the inevitability of confrontation pressing down like a storm about to break, as night descends and the echoes of betrayal, exposure, and anticipation linger. hearts heavy, minds racing, the storm of confrontation far from over, and the next day set to deliver the most shocking, emotionally charged, and suspense-filled courtroom room emotionally charged, and suspense-filled courtroom, overroom. The courthouse doors swing open, the room already thick with tension. Kody walks in first, every step weighted, shoulders rigid, jaw tight, his mind racing with the anticipation of the day ahead, knowing that the next testimonies could unravel everything he has tried to control. Christine follows, eyes sharp, scanning the room with a mixture of anger, hurt, and determination, ready to seize every moment to expose what she has long suspected, ready to expose what she has long suspected, ready to expose what she has long suspected, ready to every moment to expose what she has long suspected. Desperate attempt at reassurance, yet her face betrays fear, doubt, and guilt. Janelle sits poised, body tense, fingers lightly drumming on her lap, ready for any emotional confrontation, and Meri lingers slightly apart, her composed exterior masking the fire of silent judgment, the unspoken tension between the sisters and Kody hanging over them like a storm cloud while the judge enters, gavel in hand, immediately commanding charged session yet, as the first witness, a longtime family familiar with Kody's secret dealings, is called to the stand. Their voice is steady but edged with tension as they recount private conversations, hidden favoritism, and emotional decisions that shock even those who thought they knew the truth, each detail landing like a hammer on the fragile state of the family. Eyes blazing with Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with kind of race Tim's lean, Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with the leaning forward. Robyn trembling, hand covering her mouth, Janelle's jaw tight, body coiled, and Meri's gaze unwavering, the courtroom collectively holding its breath as the intricate web of secrecy begins to unravel, while Kody's face pales, beads of sweat forming at his temples, the weight of exposure pressing down with unrelenting force. The lawyer begins a relentless cross-examination, questions sharp, methodical, designed to cut through every defense, questions sharp, methodical, designed to cut through every defense, every defense, sharp, methodical, designed to cut through every defense, questions sharp, methodical, designed to cut through every defense, question struggling to respond, searching for words, glancing at Robyn for support but finding only mirrored uncertainty, Christine's gaze piercing, Janelle leaning forward with anticipation, and Meri's silence cutting through the tension like a blade, the courtroom practically vibrating with suspense as each layer of deception is meticulously exposed. A dramatic twist comes when the witness produces private emails, messages, and letters that show favorite emails, messages 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 and favorite some for his favorite hints, matters that children and financial decisions made without consulting the other wives. The implications so severe that the courtroom is almost frozen in disbelief, Robyn gasping, tears welling in her eyes as shock and guilt fight for dominance. Christine's lips curling into a controlled smile of vindication. Janelle exhaling sharply, and Meri's narrowed eyes silently condemning the betrayal, while Kody's head sinks lower, realization dawning that the carefully May's head sinks lower, realization dawning that the carefully Mayalization dawning that the carefully Mayalization dawning that the carefully Mayalization dawning that the carefully May's head sinks lower, realization dawning that the carefully Mayalization sinks lower, realization dawning that the carefully May weight of evidence. The judge calls for a brief recess, but outside the courtroom whispers spread like wildfire, while inside the sisters huddle, voices urgent and hushed, Christine murmuring, "This is what we've been waiting for. It's all coming out," Robyn whispering, trembling, I never imagined." Janelle pacing lightly, "They can't hide it anymore," and Meri, calm but unyielding, nodding subtly, calculating the impact of what has already been revealed and what is yet to come. When the session resumes, the focus shifts to Kody's adult children, their voices shaking as they recount years of neglect, favoritism, and feeling trapped between divided loyalties. Each word striking Kody like a physical blow. Robyn gadded loyalties. Each word striking Kody like a physical blow. Robyn gab and gab and gabbed and gab. Robyn gabbed being gabbed of woe. Robyn gabbed loyalties. Robyn gabbed between divided loyalties. Robyn gabbed between divided loyalties. Cheeks, Christine leaning forward, satisfaction mixed with sorrow written across her face, Janelle sitting rigid, hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes locked on Kody, silent judgment radiating through the room, the emotional tension palpable, every revelation a spark in a tinderbox of long-suppressed feelings. The climax of the session arrives when a former business associate produces documentation showing secret financial decisions, hidden notations showing secret financial decisions, hidden notations, hidden notations, hidden financial decisions, hidden financial decisions, hidden notating showing secret financial decisions, hidden meaning forward, financial decisions, hidden noting the wax of the session arrives, favors Robyn's children, Robyn visibly shaking as the full implications settle in, Christine's eyes narrowing, Janelle leaning forward with intense focus, and Meri's silent intensity cutting through the courtroom like steel, Kody's composure faltering further, each piece of evidence stripping away the fragile layers of control he had maintained for years. Mid-afternoon brings the most devastating twist yet as the witness produces a handwritten journalist. Mid-afternoon brings the most devastating journalist. Mid-afternoon is a handwritten journey. Promises and observations of favoritism, each page landing like a dagger in the hearts of the wives, Robyn's hands trembling, tears streaking her face, Christine's expression a mask of controlled triumph, Janelle sitting taut, anticipation sharp, and Meri's eyes narrowing, silently recording every betrayal, while Kody sits frozen, the weight of consequences crashing down, realization dawning that every secret, omission, and manipulation dawning that every secret, omission, and manipulation him and manipulation him and manipulation him down, manipulation him dawning, manipulation him han, manipulation him down, manipulation them dawning that every secret, omission, and manipulation further with multiple witnesses, friends, and former employees recounting moments of emotional neglect, favoritism, and secret alliances, the courtroom thick with suspense, Robyn clutching her arms, sobbing softly, Christine's unwavering gaze piercing through the tension, Janelle sitting tensely, and Meri's silent judgment radiating through the room, Kody struggling to maintain composure. Each revelation another blow to the already fractured family dynamic, the emotional stakes reaching their peak. As the day nears its end, the judge draws attention to the final witness for 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 the judge draws attention to the final witness for the tension to the final witness for the tension. The judge draws attention to the final witness for the blows they explain to the family to expose the deepest secrets, hidden motives, and ultimate betrayals, potentially reshaping the entire case. And as the courtroom empties, the sisters and Kody exit, each lost in a private storm. Christine fierce yet pained, Robyn fragile and guilt-ridden, Janelle tense but resolute, Meri calm yet smoldering with silent judgment, and Kody weighed down by the inevitability of confrontation. And just when it feels like every secret has 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 passed, Robyn when it feels like every secret has one private's chained, and ultimately every secret has every a shocking testimony that could shatter alliances, expose hidden truths, and leave this family forever changed, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats, desperate to see what unfolds next. As night descends and the echoes of betrayal, exposure, and anticipation linger, hearts heavy, minds racing, the storm of confrontation far from over, setting the stage for a day of courtroom drama unlike any they have faced before. The courthouse is charged with anticipation from the moment the doors open, the air thick with tension. Kody steps in first, his face pale, shoulders slumped, each step heavy with the knowledge that today could irrevocably alter the course of his family's life. Christine follows closely, eyes sharp and unrelenting, every glance a silent challenge. Robyn walks beside Kody, hand lightly brushing his arm, a desperate attempt at reassurance, yet her face at reassurance, yet her face, Janelle sits poised, body tense, fingers clasped tightly, ready to react at any moment, and Meri lingers slightly apart, her calm exterior concealing a storm of quiet judgment, all of them carrying the weight of years of betrayal, secrets, and emotional strain. As the judge enters and the gavel echoes through the room like a pulse, signaling that the day of ultimate revelation has begun. The first witness is called, a former family conf is called, a former family conf is called, a former family conf is called, a former family con 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 family conf is called, a former family con family con family conf strayed, a first witness, and favoritism promises to shake the courtroom to its core, their voice steady but edged with tension as they recount secret conversations, hidden financial manipulations, and emotionally charged favoritism that has long gone unnoticed. Christine leaning forward, eyes blazing with righteous anger, Robyn trembling, hand flying to her mouth, Janelle's knuckles whitening as she grips the bench, and Meri's gaze unwavering, each word striking like a hammer, each word striking like a hammer, and Meri's gaze unwavering, each word striking like a hammer. Under the weight of exposure, the lawyer begins a methodical cross-examination, questions precise and cutting, designed to unravel every defense, expose contradictions, and illuminate hidden motives, Kody's voice faltering as he searches for words, glancing at Robyn for support but finding only reflected uncertainty, Christine's eyes piercing, Janelle leaning forward, tension coiling in her posture, and Meri's silent judgment radiating in her posture, and Meri's silent judgment radiating judgment radiating forward, tension coiling in her posture, and Meri's silent judgment radiating Vex's posture, and Meri's silent judgment radiating Meri's, Janelle leaning forward, tension coiling in her suspense as each revelation peels back another layer of deceit. A dramatic twist comes when the witness produces private emails, letters, and digital messages proving not only favoritism toward Robyn and her children but also secret promises and financial decisions made without the knowledge of the other wives, Robyn gasping, tears welling, hand clutching her chest in shock and guilt, Christine's lips curling in a controlled smile of vindication. Narrowing, silently condemning the betrayal, while Kody sinks lower in his chair, realization dawning that the intricate web of secrets he has maintained for years is unraveling before him. The session intensifies when one of Kody's adult children is called to testify, voice shaking as they recount years of neglect, favoritism, and the emotional toll of divided loyalties, each word hitting Kody like a physical blow, Robyn covering her mouth. Mixture of satisfaction and sorrow, Janelle sitting rigid, hands gripping the bench, and Meri's eyes locked on Kody, silent judgment radiating through the room, the emotional tension palpable, each revelation adding fuel to the storm. The climax builds as a former business associate steps forward with damning documentation, revealing secret financial arrangements, hidden investments, and manipulations that favored Robyn's children over the Robyn's children over the violations that favored Robyn's children over the violations that favored Robyn's children over the things children over the revelations that favored Robyn's children over the climax children over the in-hand children over the narrowing in righteous indignation, Janelle leaning forward with focused intensity and Meri's silent judgment cutting deeper than any words could, while Kody struggles to respond. The sheer weight of exposure stripping away his defenses, leaving him vulnerable and raw before the law and his family alike. Mid-afternoon brings the most shocking twist yet as the witness produces a hidden journal filled with private conversations, promises broken, promises broken, promises broken. Narrowing conversations, promises broken. Narrowings, promises broken. Like a dagger in the hearts of the wives, Robyn's hands shaking, tears streaking her face, Christine's expression a mask of controlled triumph, Janelle sitting taut, anticipation sharp, and Meri's eyes narrowing, silent fury burning, while Kody sits frozen, the magnitude of consequence crashing down, every omission, every secret, every manipulation laid bare for all to see. The tension escalates further with a series of corroborating witness series of corroborating witness further with a series of corroborating witness recounting emotional neglect, favoritism, and secret alliances, the courtroom thick with suspense, Robyn clutching her arms, sobbing softly, Christine's gaze unwavering, Janelle sitting tensely, and Meri's silent intensity radiating, Kody struggling to maintain composure. Each revelation a hammer blow to the already fractured family dynamic, the emotional stakes reaching their zenith as the cumulative effect of years of deception is finally a of deception is finally a of deception is finally a alls of deception is finally a rs of deception is finally a oldly intently e end of deception is finally a of inspected vaven of deception is finally a testimony that shakes the courtroom to its core, revealing a long-hidden secret about Kody's decision-making that not only affected financial outcomes but also deeply hurt the wives emotionally. The revelation so damning that the room falls silent, Robyn gasping in disbelief, tears flowing freely, Christine's eyes flashing with a mixture of triumph and sorrow, Janelle exhaling sharply, and Meri sitting rigid, absorbing the full weight of the betrayal. Consequences of years of secrecy crashing down on him like a tidal wave. The judge calls for closing statements, the tension in the room thick enough to cut, lawyers presenting evidence, emotional testimony, and arguments with precision, Kody attempting a final defense, voice strained, Robyn softly supporting him yet shaken, Christine's voice sharp, unwavering, Janelle composed but intense, and Meri silent yet commanding. The courtroom tense, and Meri silent yet commanding. The courtroom trooms, and Meri silent yet commanding. The courtroom calmed and tending. The courtroom, the courtroom, unwavering. Janelle composed, unwavering. Janelle commanding. The courtroom, Janelle command. Building to an ultimate emotional climax. As the session concludes, the judge announces that deliberations will begin. The family leaving the courtroom in silence, the weight of exposure and revelation pressing down on them. Christine walking with a mixture of relief and lingering pain, Robyn fragile, guilt-stricken, Janelle tense but resolute, Meri calm yet smoldering with quiet judgment, and Kody burdened by the inevitability of consequence. Hidden truths, the family must face the aftermath. The choices they make next will define their future, and we want to hear from you. If you were in their shoes, how would you confront these revelations? Comment below and let us know. As the courtroom clears, the residual echoes of emotional conflict, betrayal, and suspense ringing out in every corner, hearts weighed down, minds awhirl, the storm at last beginning to subside but leaving wounds and questions that will haunt them and us alike, taking this emotionally charged, suspenseful ride to a dramatic and unforgettable conclusion.